love it. All right, 5:02. We'll do one more minute seated here, but we're just gonna start the first song here with some like breath and pelvic floor, giving you a little bit of cueing for your pelvic floor for how you can incorporate this with a workout, and maybe what you can be doing or what you should or shouldn't be doing on the side. There's not a lot of shouldn't. There's just some advice that might be better than others for things you could do more of. Did that say London? If it did, I love it. You're amazing. That's exciting. 30 weeks? Oh, I know. Gyms and pools haven't been open. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. I think it's shifting a lot of things for a lot of people, myself included. And managing that is not always the best, although I'm not pregnant, so I feel for everyone who's trying to figure out a training protocol that feels good or a program that feels good. So we won't hold anyone else up here. Let's get moving. So sitting up on your seat, it could be chair, again, it could be pillow, you could be on the floor. Brooklyn, hello. Let's start here. And I just want you to find a nice, tall, lifted posture. So you're here and your sits bones underneath you are the two bony landmarks that are underneath your seat. So you're just kind of sitting up nice and tall, lifting up through your shoulders. It's like you're trying to find length from your seat all the way up through the top of your head. And then if it feels comfortable, just take a little shoulder roll and place your hands right here on the sides of your rib cage. And as you're sitting here with your hands on your rib cage, or if that feels uncomfortable and you feel like you're cranking up here, I want you to place your hands just on the front of your rib cage so your shoulders and your neck can relax a little bit. You're gonna take a nice big inhale here into your nose like you're sniffing flowers, and find expansion in your rib cage and expansion in your belly. Then as you exhale, just let that breath come right back down. Nice big inhale to fill. Find space in your rib cage, space in your belly. Exhale, let that breath come back out. We're gonna stay here for just a minute, really finding that nice inhale and exhale. So with this breath, I want you to think of bringing that breath from up in your chest, down into your rib cage and down into your belly. So most of us are stress breathers and we start breathing up in here and you start getting really high up into your chest and it turns on your stress symptoms and your parasympathetic nervous system that we want to turn back on. So take that nice big inhale and send that breath down to wrap around baby. So a nice big inhale to fill, send that breath down to your belly. Exhale and wrap. Blow that breath back out. Yes, good. So as we continue to tack on to this here, take a little rock side to side on your sits bones. So those are those bony landmarks underneath your butt. You can place your hands there and move the flesh if you need to find them. Those are the sides to your pelvic floor. And then take a little rock front to back. Just kind of releasing your pelvis to the front and the back. This is going to help you find that neutral alignment. Then I want you to find that place right in the middle of all those four places. So they're all evenly spaced underneath you. That's your pelvic floor, that diamond that's sitting underneath you. You're gonna take a nice big inhale here, just like we did before, and let those muscles relax. Don't let your glutes squeeze. And then on the exhale, I want you to try to draw your sits bones together underneath you and gently lift those pelvic floor muscles up and in your body. I'm going to cue this a million ways, so just follow with me. Nice big inhale. Allow your pelvic floor muscles to just be relaxed. On that exhale, draw your sits bones together. Stop the flow of urine, stop the passing of gas. It's a lot of things coming at you, I know. Inhale. Let all of that go. On the exhale, draw a tampon up inside your body with those muscles as if you couldn't use your hands. Inhale and release and let that come back out. On the next exhale, draw your sits bone together like elevator doors. Lift the elevator up to the second floor. So we're trying to pull all 4 points together to lift and draw up inside your body. And on that inhale, when we fill up in our belly, that's when those muscles soften down to your seat. On the exhale, they lift up and away. Inhale, they soften down. Exhale, they lift up and away. And you're only lifting with the tension like you're lifting a blueberry up off of the seat without squishing it. So that might change how you've been doing this access of these muscles. We're just trying to find them. We're not trying to squeeze them. We're not trying to grip them. We're just trying to find them, because these muscles are super crucial in pushing, of course. So you want to just find where these muscles are and how they find that lift and how they find that release. So this is kind of going to sort of flow with you, and I'm going to cue this a million times as we go, and this takes a lot of practice. So if it's hard for brains to connect right now, don't worry about it. Last thing while we're here, you're going to take a nice big inhale to fill. Pelvic floor releases down. On the exhale, I want you to zip up from your pelvic floor and wrap your belly. Nice big inhale here. Stay where you are. Find more space in your belly. On the exhale, zip up and hug baby into your midline. Take your abdominals and hug your baby. Nice big inhale. Release. Exhale. Zip up and wrap. So it's like you're trying to draw your hips together, you're trying to draw your midline together, and you're trying to close your rib cage. Nice big inhale. Exhale, wrap. So zip and draw up. So this, I will call it 360-degree breathing or belly wrapping. So anytime I tell you to wrap your belly, you're going to take this exhale and really wrap and engage your abdominals around baby. This protects your low back in anything that we're doing. So really, to stay protected in your low back, this is super important. So take that pillow out from underneath you or your seat. We're going to come onto all fours. So come into that nice all fours position. If you aren't muted, can I just ask you to...
I'm doing that.
Excuse me, can I ask everyone to mute if you're not muted unless you have a quick question? Just so we can all hear.
How come the audio is not coming?
Okay, let's come onto all fours right here. We're going to take that same breath. So I want you to take a nice big inhale here to fill. Same thing. Your back stays nice and neutral, but you're allowing your belly to drop towards the floor. On the exhale, blow out and hug your baby up towards your spine. Nice big inhale to release. On the exhale, blow out and hug your belly up and in. Good. Nice big inhale. So your spine is staying nice and neutral. We're not doing a cat-cow here. You're keeping your spine nice and flat. Nice and long from head to tailbone. You're really just working through these corset muscles. So we're working our TVA, our obliques, and our corset muscles to the front. This is what helps keep that core really strong in the front as your belly continues to grow and protects your low back from back pain. So nice big inhale. Exhale. Draw up and in. Last one. Exhale, blow. Good. On this next one, we're going to add a bird dog. So staying here, you're going to take a nice big inhale to fill. On the exhale, you're going to lift your opposite arm, opposite leg, and find length. So the goal here is stability. It's not to be wobbly. We might start to fall. If you start to tip, engage that belly a little bit more. Inhale and set your arm and leg down. Exhale, other side. So goal that I want you to find is that engagement in your belly first, before your arm and your leg lift up. Inhale and set it back down. Just keep alternating at your pace. This is intended to be kind of slow. I want you to really find that stability here as you're working through that bird dog. So find that nice, strong engagement. Squeeze your glutes a little bit. Belly is drawing up and in. You're going to find that stability by using your glutes and your core. I'll say that 9,000 times. I know. Just a couple more here. We're getting that core activated a little bit. By squeezing your glutes, you're getting a little bit of glute engagement. Good. Last one, wherever you are. Place your hands down, then press yourself up into a nice down dog. Find a little stretch right here. You can pedal your feet. breathing, keep breathing. And then walk your feet slowly up halfway or your hands towards your feet and slowly roll up. Take your time, don't stand up too fast. Get yourself resituated here. We're gonna start right here. Take some nice shoulder rolls while you're standing. Loosen it out. Good, and keep that breath flowing. Take your shoulders forward. Good. Take your arms into a nice V. So you're taking a little push out. Your feet are about hip width apart. And you're just taking a little squat and pull right here. Pulling those arms down, pressing them away. Good, keep going. We're just getting a little bit warm here. I'm gonna try to get more in this picture here. Good, 4, 3, 2, take a reach up right here. Good. Finding a little bit of that length along the side of your body. Good. Keep breathing. There's no space to inhale or exhale here, no correct place. You're just keeping moving. 4, 3, we're gonna take little side steps here. So take your feet together, little side steps, 2 to each side. You can keep them right underneath you. You don't have to take big steps. Good. So you're kind of sitting back here, sitting back and sending your glutes back. Good. Wrap that belly, so hug baby just a little bit underneath. Yes. Good. 4, 3, 2. We're going to take some marches right here. Lift that knee up. Good. Breathe. If you've lost that flow of breath, find it again. Good. So every time that knee lifts, your belly draws in just a little bit. Find that breath. Use your glutes to squeeze. Good. Yep. 4, 3, 2. We're going to take some butt kicks right here. Pull back. So with those butt kicks, I want you to stay connected. Rib cage to hips. Don't get too fun. Stay connected. Good. Get that heel towards your glute. Let's wake it up. 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to start with a nice air squat here. Take a sip of water. Stay hydrated, please. Right here, I want you to take this at your pace. You're also welcome to, this is too low, do this to a chair if you want. I'll pretend this is my chair for a second. We're going to start with just some basic squats. I want your feet underneath your hips. And I would like you to be able to sit back onto something in theory. So you don't have to use the chair, or you can use the chair to help you find that squat and then exhale to come back up. So we inhale down, exhale up to squeeze. So we're just going to start finding some air squats first. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You cannot squat too much during your pregnancy. Strong glutes are absolutely crucial to assisting with back pain and ensuring that it doesn't happen for you. If your glutes aren't working or if they're turned off, other things that shouldn't work have to do it for you. So we want your glutes to stay active. Ways that you can take this up. If you've squatted for a long time or you're comfortable with it, you could take your pace up. You could tap faster and come back up quicker. We call these like hot seats. So that can become cardio if you're sitting back to a chair or if you're not. Good, stay right here. I know it feels long. We're gonna add on in just a second. 4, 3, we're gonna add a knee lift to your squat. So we're gonna start squatting back, exhale up, find your balance, take a knee lift. Good. Inhale down, alternate other leg. Other leg lifts up. Inhale down, Exhale, lift. Good. So you're pressing your weight into your heels. You're trying to feel this in your glutes. I don't want you to feel this in your knees. So really sit back. That's where I think that chair can sometimes be really helpful because you're reaching your bum for the chair. Inhale, exhale, wrap. Exhale, wrap. Good. Chest stays lifted. So now we're going to slow this down a little bit. Find that balance on one side. Step out into a side lunge. So that leg is going to bend, other leg stays straight. Beautiful. Exhale, press yourself back up. Come back to your narrow squat right here. Now lift your other knee up. Exhale here. Good. This leg is going to step out to the side. Nice and long. Yep. Exhale, use that belly. Squeeze your glutes. Whoop, there we go. Come back to your narrow squat. Inhale, exhale, other leg comes back up. Take your side lunge. Take your balance. Back to the center. Other leg lifts up. Steps out to the side. Finds that balance. Good. And back to the center. If that side lunge bothers you, keep it right underneath you. Or take the step not as far. Good. So I know this is a lot of glutes. This is a lot of balance. We did that whole song squatting and finding some balance. That's intentional. Good. We're almost there. Beautiful job. Really sitting back into those glutes when you step out to the side and in your squat. Good. Use your exhale. Right here. Right here, just take that march. Woo! I know. Give your glutes a little bit of a breather. We can talk about that at the end, but your glutes are super, super important. So squatting is important. And it works. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Right here. If you have a weight, you're welcome to grab this weight right here. If not, we're going to practice getting down to the floor. Woo! It's a tough one. So if you have that heavy weight, it's like holding a baby. So it's like mimicking you getting up and down off the floor with a baby in your hands. Same thing. We're going to squat. You're going to sit back into your squat. We're going to take one knee down to the floor, other knee, sit all the way down. Inhale right here. Exhale, draw baby in a little bit. Come up to that first step of your squat. Second step, squeeze all the way up. Inhale, sitting back into your squat. Exhale, hug baby in. Come down, all the way down. Woo! Inhale at the bottom. Exhale again. Baby starts to draw in. Stand, stand, lift and squeeze. Good. So the way you could make this a strength move, this is already a strength move, you could add an overhead press at the top. If you have a weight, sitting back all the way down to the floor. Oops, excuse me. And then exhale, press it up. Keep taking your steps through this. You can alternate legs, just coming down on either side and then standing back up on either side, using your breath. So inhale as you're sitting back into things, and exhale, use that belly and use that core as you come back up. This is hard. So if this feels really challenging, this is why. It's hard work, and you're using a lot of full body muscles. Good. So I see some of you moving right through this. I love it. You can adjust the pace. You can take this really slowly, or you can take this a little bit faster and make this more of a heart rate working exercise, because that's okay. As long as you could still answer me a quick question if I asked you, hey, how are you feeling? And you could answer me, even if you're a little bit winded, you're good to go. Good, just take a couple more right here. Woo, I know. Use those glutes, use those legs. Nice and tall and lifted in your posture. And use that engagement in your belly to help you lift. Good, 8 seconds here. 8, 7, 6. Good, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. We're giving your legs a break for this song. Take a sip of water. I know, that was a lot of lower body, but we need that to keep you nice and stable and strong during pregnancy. Heading to some arms right here. We're just gonna take, if you have light weights, I should say for this, if you have anything 1 to 3 pounds or water bottles or soup cans that you'd like to use, feel free. If you don't, you can do this completely without weights. So right here, you're gonna take your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart and take your palms up and down. Make a little C with your hands. C. Tap it up, tap it down. Good. Up, down, up, down. We're gonna make these arms burn. If you don't have weights, that's okay. Make a fist and just take your arms up and under.
This is a prenatal,
everything I do with weights, just do it without.
full body workout video.
Welcome for joining us. Thank you. Yay. Good. 4, 3, 2. Hold it here. Tap it front and out. So your palms are lifted. Good. So as you're here, you're going to stay nice and tall and lifted through the center of your body. You're holding underneath baby just a little bit, so draw that belly in a little bit. Don't hold your breath. Just lift up and under. Little squeeze to your glutes. Hold it here. Bring your elbows in. Press it up. Good. Little tiny press right here. Yep. Good. Breathe. Don't hold your breath. I know. We're going to start to feel that burn. With or without weights, your shoulders are going to feel it. Good. 4, 3, 2. Keep that goalpost. Take it out. Squeeze in. Out and in. Good. Woo, there's that heat. Yes. This is one of that ones that you can do with or without weights, and you're going to feel it either way. Breathe. 8, 7, 6. Woo! 4, 3. Hold it right here to the side. Take it out, pull it in, out and in. So you're working a lot of that back, a lot of your chest. You're not flaring because you're tired. Stay really connected through the center, nice and tall. I know. Breathe. 8, 7, 6. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Roll it out. And I should say, if you want to hold those weights a little bit longer, you can, or you can just use a fist right here. You're going to take a little tricep press. We're going to come back to tricep presses again. This is just like a little finisher, so you don't necessarily have to still have your weights, but you also can. So hinge a little bit at your hips here, and belly is in as you're pressing out here. Press. Really squeeze that spot above your elbow. On this next one, hold it out and pulse. Lift. So draw your shoulder blades together. Rib cage is still connected in the front. You're pressing a little bit of that weight through your heels. Good. 4, 3. Press it in right here. Press, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll it out. Woo! Yes. So let's take, if you want to still hold those weights, you can. You don't have to again. Or you could take this to like 2 5s. So if you had something a slightly heavier, if you're used to using weights, 2 8s are fine too. We're going to step back with your left leg first. You're going to step back into a reverse lunge. So here, your feet are like on train tracks. They're not on a balance beam, they're on train tracks. Have some space in between. Step back, get that back knee down. Stand up tall. Exhale, take a curl right here. So weights or no weights, you can make a fist. Inhale back. Exhale, stand. Take that curl. Inhale back. Exhale, squeeze. Take a curl right here. Good. Inhale back. Exhale, take that curl. So you could always take an extra breath. You could exhale to come up out of that squat. Take an inhale here, and exhale, take that lift. Or you could make it more of one fluid motion, and take that curl as you come up to stand. Good. Main goal here is that you're sort of leaning back into this. That knee is getting close to the floor. And instead of that front knee leaning forward into it, you're getting back towards that back leg. Use your breath. Good. Yes, Taylor, nice balance. You can always add that balance when you come up to stand. Challenge that core a little bit more. 4, 3, 2, 1, shake it out. We're gonna do that other side. Stepping back with your right, stepping back here. Exhale, find that curl. You don't have to take that balance, that's optional. Balance work is super important during pregnancy. It challenges your core. And just like any other time, you're gonna maybe feel a little more wobbly than you usually do with more weight here. So the more balance work that you do to kind of train this, the better that it is for your body. We still have to step to the side. We still have to step to the back. We still need to find our way unilateral upstairs, one leg at a time. Good. Beautiful. Using that core, use that exhale on the way up. That's supporting your back, that's supporting your belly. Good. 3, 2. Woo! I challenge us a little bit here. One low impact cardio song. We're gonna do it in circuits. Set your weights down. We're gonna take those marches again. So you've done these. You can keep this pace nice and steady. Really pulling your arms down, drawing your belly in, finding that squeeze in your glutes. You could also take it a little bit faster. So I want you to do what your body says you need to do today, and it might not be what you need tomorrow. It might not be what you did yesterday. Exhale, use that breath. Nice and tall and lifted. You're not crunching down into it. You're nice and tall. Good. Breathe. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a second right here. Nice big inhale. Allow your breath to come back down if it's risen up. And breathe. 8, 7. Find that breath. Good. 4, 3. We're going to take some squats right here. Reach down and up. Inhale down. Exhale lift. So again, your pace might not be mine. It might be slower, it might be faster. You're sitting back, you're sitting into your heels, feeling this in your glutes, using that breath. If you want to level it up just a little bit, if it feels good to your body and you feel good with your balance, inhale down, exhale, raise up to your toes. This is in lieu of like a jump squat right here. We're getting some low impact work. Beautiful. Using that breath, let it flow. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Very quick break. Take a breather. Come on over to that right leg. Find this long pose and pull. So your arms are pumping back, your knee is pumping in. You're leaning completely on that right leg. You could take this really slow. You could take this slowly too. There's no pressure. Low impact cardio can also mean finding that stability, using your breath, just keeping it powerful. It doesn't mean that you have to make it super fast. 4, 3, 2, quickly rotate over to the other side while you take a second to breathe. Not a long time. Come right back in, other side. Pull. Woo! Find that stability. Nice. Yes, good. Nice and strong, nice posture, nice long spines. Beautiful. Find that breath. Even while you're moving, it doesn't stop in labor. Even when it gets really hard, we have to breathe through it. Yes, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe right here. Let it all slow down. Like in labor, there's still going to be other things going on. You're in between contractions. You have to use that time. Breathe. Slow it down. That's your recovery. 4, 3, 2. Come back into that marching. You're going to pick it back up. We bring it back up again. Keep finding that march. We're almost there. These ones are going to be a little bit longer. We're going to take a little less rest, and we didn't even have a ton of rest before. So you're going to learn to breathe through the activity so that you can try to find that space to turn on your parasympathetic nervous system even when work feels hard. Breathe through it. Woo! 8, 7, 6. Good. 4, 3, 2. Right into our squats right here. So you might start with them slow because we didn't take a ton of rest. We didn't take any rest. So you might start with these nice and slow. And then maybe once that breath has sort of come back down a little bit, you're maybe picking that pace back up. Maybe you're diving right into that toe raise, taking it up. Maybe you're keeping your heels on the floor. Beautiful. Remember, even though we're here calling this low impact cardio, I want you sitting back into your glutes, making sure your butt is still working. Don't get too caught up in momentum right here. Come right into that knee repeater. Woo, right on your right leg, stabilize, pull. Yes, we're finishing this off. Stay strong. Good, keep going. We're deep into transitional labor right here. You're right at the end. Breathe. Flip over to that other side right here. Bring it back. I know we're still going. I know you might be breathing heavily. Your body feels tired and ready for a break. We're going to get that. Challenge your mind. You can do anything for this 20 seconds. You can do anything for a minute. Breathe. 8 seconds right here. 4, 3, 2, 1, and breathe. Woo! Take your arms up overhead and release them back down. Let your arms just kind of swing. Take them back up. Nice big inhale. Exhale, let them fall. Woo! Just let your hips shake out a little bit. So maybe you're taking like a nice figure 8 right here and just kind of letting your hips relax. You might just shake them side to side. Literally let all your muscles kind of turn off here. Shake, shake, shake. And then let's take a little bit of a lean. You're just going to take your right foot forward and flex your toes up towards your chest. You're kind of just going to swoop down, lean forward. You're going to feel a nice stretch in the back of your calf and reach back up tall. Swing them back down. Inhale. Exhale up to stand. So you might not be reaching very far forward. Hamstrings and calves can get very tight. And if they are, that's going to feel really tricky. Good. Finding that nice reach. We're just kind of letting things turn off before we come back down and get into our side body. Good. Take that left arm up. I'll do left, I'll mirror you. Take it left over the top. Just find a nice little side reach right here. So I don't want you trying to like fold over and let your belly relax too far. You're just trying to make this nice and long. Think lifting up out of your hips and really stretching your fingertips towards the ceiling. This can sometimes feel really good if you've got tightness on the side of your belly here. Good. Release that side. Nice big inhale, other side comes over. Again, it's like you're pulling this hip down, lifting up your fingertips out of your hip. With a little reach here, still maintaining a little control and connection with belly. Beautiful, and let's comfortably make your way down to the floor. We're gonna come back down, we're gonna end up lying on our side, but first just start hands and knees. I'm gonna very unofficially and then productively bring you down here with me. There we go. Just to start on hands and knees. And just find that same breath. Nice big inhale. Exhale. If a slight cat-cow feels good to you, you're gonna take a nice big inhale. More than drop your belly to the floor when you're pregnant, I want you to think of opening your chest. So you're just trying to find space here. Exhale, tuck your pelvis under, round it out. Inhale, open your heart, open your chest, belly stays slightly connected. Exhale. Inhale, open that heart. Exhale. And then if it feels good to take any other little like hip wiggle or shake it out, you can. Let's come on down to your side. So you're gonna lay down on your right side. In order to do that though, before you come down, I want you to sit on the side of your body as though you're getting ready to roll down to your right side. Here, you're gonna take a little exhale, wrap and hug your belly in to support your baby, and then use your hands to help you come down to the floor. So rather than doing like a crunch up and down, which is what that is when you come down, you're supporting your core by using a little side support right here. I'm gonna have to angle because we're all working with like modified spaces right now. Take your knees at a nice 90-degree angle, feet are flexed. So your knees are kind of in line with your hips. You can lay on a pillow, you can lay on your arm. Your belly draws in just a little bit right here, and we're gonna take a little hydrant lift right here. And lower, lift and lower. So we're really working through this hip right here. So back when everybody was maybe commuting, if you live in a city, when you're standing on the train and no one gets up to give you a seat and you have to use your legs to stabilize your body, these are the muscles that we need. We need these medial glutes, you need your hip flexors to be nice and strong. We're gonna add a kick, lift it up, kick it out, bring it in, lower down. Lift it up, kick it out, bring it in, lower down. Up, out, in, down. I'm challenging that coordination a little bit. Mom brain, baby brain. Use that body control right here. 4, 3, 2, you're gonna lift that leg back up and then hold it. Point your toe right here. Take circles back. Little tiny circles. You can adjust that bottom leg to support you if you need to. Woo, breathe. Your hip is working. 3, 2, reverse your circle, take it forward. Sounds of Harlem. Fire trucks. So your baby is drawing in just a little bit. I don't want you to hold your breath, but I do want you to connect with your core. Good. 4, 3, I know I feel it too. We're gonna take right here, lower and lift. Lower and lift. Lower, lift it up. So you're thinking inner thighs, outer thighs, inner thighs, outer thighs. Good. Making these hips really strong to support your body and carry the weight of this growing baby. Good. 4. Breathe. I know it feels tricky right now. Don't hold your breath. Last one. Woo! Let that leg come down. Cross that leg over the top. Give that spicy spot a little bit of love. I know. I know. Same thing to get back up because we have to roll over. You're gonna use your hands. Exhale, wrap your belly, press yourself back up. Good. Always taking your time with that. We're gonna balance this out on the other side. Sometimes the second side feels spicier because now we have to use the side that's done some work to do some more work. We're gonna breathe through this one. Again, same thing coming down to your side. And get comfortable, take a breath, draw baby in, get those knees in like a nice position for yourself. We're gonna take that lift and lower right here. Lift. So when you lift up, think about your outer thigh. When you squeeze down, think about your inner thigh. And use that breath, good. Breathe. Good. 4, 3, 2. We're going to take that kick right here. Lift, kick it out, bring it in, lower down. Up, out, in, down. Good. Woo, yes. And try to unclench your jaw here if you're feeling a little tight. There's an immediate connection with your pelvic floor. So if we're trying to find a little bit of a release, unclench your jaw. Take that leg out right here, hold it up, point your toe, circle back. Woo, breathe. Yes. Really thinking of engaging through that glute. Reverse the circle right here, take it forward. So this is great for lengthening, this is great for toning, this is great for getting a lot of those tiny muscles that help with support and stabilization. Good, 4, 3, we're gonna take that lower right here, lower down, lift it up. Use that breath. You might feel your glutes working, you might feel your hip working. If your hand's not supporting your belly, place it on your hip too. You might really feel those muscles doing that work, and it helps you focus and breathe. 3, 2, 1. Ah, good. Tap it across the top. Good, 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 good. And then again, same thing. Exhale, use that hand, press yourself up. And we're just gonna come over into our moving plank variation. I always like to finish with this. It can kind of be a little bit of a flush out for you to kind of just let things flow. It also still is doing a lot of work for your core. And if you're curious about how you can do plank safely through pregnancy, this is it. So you're gonna press your hips back and find a nice long child's pose. Just find that long child's pose and breathe for a second. We'll bring that music down, mellow it down just a little bit. Find a nice big flow of breath here, letting your hips kind of relax and soften after everything we just did. Now to get into these moving planks, it's a really safe way to maintain pregnancy planks and keep your core nice and strong. There's going to be a lot of cueing. You're going to take a nice big inhale here. Allow your belly to release down towards the floor. Nice big inhale, and exhale, start to zip up through your belly and pull yourself forward into this nice high plank. So when you get here, I don't want your hips to drop down and your belly to splay. That defeats the purpose a bit. Keep your hips nice and high. As if you were to come right up into a high plank here, you're already in position. So you've just kind of like lowered your knees down. So draw baby up and in like you're trying to connect your rib cage and your hips. Yes, I saw some changes right away. So it's like you're trying to keep your rib cage and your hips connected. I know you can't do that. Inhale and press back. Baby gets in the way a little bit of that, but that's what you're thinking about. Inhale at the back. Exhale, pull yourself forward. Connect rib cage and hips, draw baby up and in. And press yourself back. So you're trying to keep a nice long line. And if you're not sure if you're doing that, check yourself in the camera or in front of a mirror so you can make sure that you're not like drooping or do anything funny. Your hips are gonna be a little bit higher than you think they need to be in order to keep that belly connected in the front. Beautiful. Really nice, Sarah. Inhale back. Exhale. Good. You're just shifting that weight forward, drawing your belly in. So if you want to take this up a little bit, if that feels really controlled to you and you feel like you've got a good grasp on that, exhale, draw your body forward, take a little mini push up here. And press yourself back. Inhale, exhale, pull your body forward, find that connection in your core. Little mini push up right here and press yourself back. Now, if when you're going into that push-up, your belly starts drooping down towards the floor and you notice any coning in the front of your abdominals, pressure pushing out, then nix the push-up and just keep that nice connection in the front of your belly. I know we're doing this for a long time. That's why I say take these nice and slow and move through them. If you're earlier in your pregnancy or were on a very strict training protocol before and you still feel comfortable, you could start up in a down dog. You're going to take a nice big inhale here. You're going to exhale, blow out. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your belly, rib cage to hips, and then press yourself back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale at the back, exhale. Take 2 more of whichever variation feels good to you, and in a child's pose, just breathing. Beautiful. You're really keeping that connection between rib cage and hips. Good. Beautiful. Find that breath. And then come on up to a nice seated butterfly pose. Let's stretch it out for just a moment. So draw those feet together. They don't necessarily have to be super close to you. They can be a little bit farther out. The goal is that you stay nice and tall, still nice and lifted here. That you're breathing. I want you to try to relax your pelvic floor. That means no tension. We're not lifting anything up. We're trying to let all of this relax. So even going into labor, I usually tell a lot of my clients, friends, moms who are going into birth to give their inner thighs a little massage, a little love in this butterfly position. Sometimes when our adductors get really tight right here, it tends to have our pelvic floor grip up. The more that you can get these to release, the better that it is. The more release you'll find. So get used to being in this position and finding some breath. Inhaling and really letting it go. And then take both feet in front of you right here, a little bit hip width apart or slightly wider. You're just going to lean back onto your hands, belly draws in a little bit, and just shift your hips. Let them drop side to side. You can hold it on one side if it feels good to you. You don't have to rock with it, but if it feels good to find that movement. Really trying to keep your sits bones down to the ground and just kind of letting your knees fall where they'll fall, letting those hips find a nice stretch. Breath is still flowing. And then take those feet straight out in front of you. Let's take your right leg across the top. Flex your feet, so make L shapes with both of your feet. Here, you might find a little bit of a reach right here, spine nice and long, and already feel that hip flexor start speaking to you and say, that's enough. Breathe into it, send that breath to that spot. If that's not enough, you can bend that bottom leg under and take a little bit of a rock. Keep your chest nice and lifted here, so don't sink down into it. Stay nice and tall. Really using that breath to find that release in your hip flexor. If your hip flexors are generally loose, you could maybe take a full pretzel right here. And again, stay nice and tall and lifted in your chest. Good. Switch those legs. Take both legs back out straight. Flex your other foot over here. So this side might need something different than the other side was looking for. So you might stay right here and say, whew. Or this side feels like it's a little ready to dive into something else. Goal is through any of these stretches that you're not putting yourself in a position where your whole body tenses up just to find a stretch. So if you feel like you're tensing in any of these positions, take it back just a step and find yourself breathing into that stretch to release a little bit deeper instead of trying to go into the tightest one and praying for a release. That tension in your body will probably stay there. And then take both legs out to the side. It doesn't have to be far. Let's take that right arm over the top, nice big inhale. Find that release. I want both sits bones to stay grounded into the floor, so don't let that hip reach up. Keep it down, find that lift. We often get really compressed during pregnancy, so take that top arm, turn your palm, and a little chest opener towards the back. and release out of it. Take that other arm over the top. Hip stays down. Breathe. Flip that palm, open your chest just slightly. You're not really splaying your abdominals. You're not finding a huge stretch. You're just opening your chest a little bit. Beautiful. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. You did it. You did it, you did it. Now throw questions at me. How's everyone feeling? If you have questions, do you have general pregnancy questions? I know some questions came in before. Maybe some of them were answered while we were moving and some of them were not yet answered, or you want something explained in more detail. Anybody can kick it off.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for that. That was awesome.
Yay!
You're beautiful.
Welcome. Thank you.
I know that you're not supposed to twist as far as disassociating your shoulders and your hips, but what if you're doing like a gentle stretch, you're lying on your back and you want to do a spinal stretch? Is that okay?
Totally okay. So the no twisting, I understand why that is something that's generally out there as advice, because for someone who may not have body awareness or understand what that means, it may get taken too far. However, we have to twist in like day-to-day life. You go to reach something, you have to twist. You go to grab something in front of you and you have to twist. And that means your shoulders and your hips are going to separate and cross instead of moving in the same way. So generally for any time you're twisting, what I recommend is taking a little bit of that belly wrap and trying to draw that pressure in just a little bit before you twist. So what that's doing is creating a little bit more of that connection in the front so that when you twist to the side, you're not splaying it farther apart. Because generally the no twisting rule is said because we don't want people just twisting all over the place and then all that intra-abdominal pressure in your belly starts pushing out and causing that pressure against your linea alba, that tissue right in the center. So this way, if you can find a nice alignment when you're twisting and just take a little bit of a belly wrap before you take that spinal twist, drawing your belly in a little bit, you're just basically keeping that intra-abdominal pressure pulling in instead of pushing out and causing that like splay. We just don't want to stay in this space of splaying, right? Because your belly gets heavier and sometimes we find that some women it causes that arch in your spine and you're pressing forward or you're like tucked under like this. So we just want to avoid either side of that spectrum of splaying too far forward and letting all that pressure push out and pull these muscles apart, or too much slouching right here. So generally for twisting, just find a little bit of that belly wrap, and then it might mean you can't twist as far, but you might still get a little bit of that twist that your back is looking for or that your hips need. So yeah, just a little bit more control through those abdominals before you twist.
Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking about that in yoga. It's like a lot of those poses. So if as long as you're pulling in, it's fine.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I usually say for those, again, yeah, same thing. Just keep your belly drawn in just a little bit more, and maybe don't take the twist as far or as extreme. It could also mean that you just don't hold it as long. Maybe you release out of it a little bit, take that nice big inhale, exhale, wrap again, and then take a little bit of that twist. So the breath might be a little off from what you're being cued there, but you're controlling that belly for prenatal safe movement. Yay. I know there's got to be more. There's so many crazy things.
I've got one.
Oh.
I know you said that all of these things you could do kind of throughout pregnancy. Is there anything that you would say that you should focus on as pregnancy progresses? Like anything that gets more important as you go?
I wouldn't necessarily say more important. There are a few things that I definitely think are great focuses through all of your pregnancy. So glutes is definitely a really, really, really big one. So the stronger glutes that you have and the more active that your glutes are, the more they're going to work to stabilize your body throughout pregnancy. So when you're walking, when you're sitting, when you're bending, when you're getting up and down to a chair, if your glutes turn off, your hips start to have to work. it generally means that your core might start to feel a little inactive, then your posture is going to slouch, and it sort of is this domino effect of things that then causes back pain, and then your necks might, like your shoulders might start to droop, and now you're having upper back pain, and now you're getting like pains down your legs. So if you can keep your glutes nice and strong and active, that might mean that if you're sitting through a majority of your day, stand up and do some squats to your chair. Do 10 squats to your chair every hour, hour and a half. And then by then you've made your glutes wake up throughout your day, so that by the end of the day, your back's not like completely, what happened? What happened was your glutes turned off all day, and then you stood up, and now you're expecting them to work for you a little bit. So keeping your glutes a little bit active can be really important. Same thing with upper back, and I think we're all feeling this right now, pregnancy or not. If you can take just like some scapular activations in your chair, or even take your hands behind your head and don't splay your belly. Again, stay connected. Just opening up a little bit and lifting up out of your chest. It wakes up your upper back and your upper neck. All of that's going to help with your posture. And same thing with that breathing that we did in the beginning. That just big inhale, exhale, and zip up. Draw that belly in. Inhale and let it go. Exhale, engage. So inhale, take up more space. Exhale, take up less space. If you can do a few of those things like once an hour, no matter what you're doing in your day, keeping your upper back, your core, and your glutes strong are going to be super, super important to carry you through as your belly continues to get larger and you're carrying more weight in the front. So you're either not tipping forward this way or slouching down all the time. So throughout your whole pregnancy, if you can focus upper back, arms too, because baby stuff is heavy. So if you're not used to doing strength, even like those lightweight section that we did for endurance arms, because if you're holding a car seat for a long time, it's a lot of work. And then like the baby's heavy, and then you put the baby in the car seat, and as much help as you might have, we're all gonna have to lift things. So if we can keep like upper back, arms, core, and glutes nice and strong throughout pregnancy, those are sort of transitionally all the way through first trimester to third trimester, key things to focus on.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Taylor, I know I missed you last time.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. I have a quick question.
Sure.
So I know we brought an awareness to our pelvic floor and our breathing throughout the exercises. Should we be focusing on it at another point, like not just when we're exercising throughout the day?
Yeah, so for pelvic floor anytime, I generally don't want people to focus on like worrying about Kegels, whatever people like to call them, throughout your whole day and throughout your whole pregnancy. I don't want people to be panicking about like super strong pelvic floor muscles. What we want is a functional range of motion pelvic floor. So we want it to be able to fully relax and release, and then find some tension to engage. That doesn't mean gripping up to squeeze. I think we've like all had the wrong impression of what that really is in our muscles. And really what we want to be doing is working the front and the back, because when you have a baby and during pushing, you need both of these muscles to release and relax, front and back. And then so finding them during your pregnancy, the only reason I really cue them during a class is because I want some women to even like find them. Because I think before you're pregnant, and even sometimes before you have a baby, you don't really know what these muscles are until you have the baby and you're like, oh, that's what my pelvic floor is. So this is really more to get that awareness around these are the muscles that we just need to have access to. So it's really more about accessing your muscles, maybe a little bit of tone more than strength. So I generally say, if you have any strength training protocol, if you're doing any squats, if you're doing any core work, your pelvic floor is generally coming along for the ride without you doing a whole bunch of extra work. So you shouldn't necessarily need to do more work outside of a class to find like a little bit of tone to these muscles if they're probably already working a little bit with you. If you aren't generally doing any type of like a class or a strength training, it would be good, I think, once a day, couple minutes or so, to just work through this breath. So get the breath and the core together. Nice big inhale, let them release. Exhale, just drawing a little blueberry up in without squishing it. So like finding, I know these cues are crazy, and I have a longer video about this on my Instagram that I'll see if we can link through Ula that sort of like gives different cues to like help your brain connect to this. If it starts to feel really confusing, I usually tell people just to drop it, because it's not really super important that these muscles are really, really strong, because actually we want them to release to push a baby out. We just need them to stay toned and to know what they are. So it helps generally with pushing to just know what these muscles are, but you shouldn't have to do a whole bunch of extra work outside of a workout to train them per se. Just if you're doing squats and if you can just like try to find some coordination with your breath there, that should be enough to keep these muscles toned. If you're concerned about the tone of your pelvic floor, if you feel like you're already leaking urine a lot, if you feel like there's a frequency to urinate more than just outside of your drinking water and you have a baby laying on your bladder, if it feels differently than that, I would say that's when you could like speak to a pelvic floor PT before labor and just have them do like a consultation or a quick check. Some people can just go one time and they can say, your pelvic floor looks great, it's just pregnancy, and then you have a little bit more awareness for labor and delivery and postpartum recovery. If that's
Thank
helpful.
you so much.
Yeah. What else do we have? Labor prep. I would also say, actually to that note before I forget, after 37 weeks, I wouldn't do any Kegels. That's when we want your pelvic floor and everything to kind of relax. So a question here about 34, 35 weeks getting ready for labor. One of those things, I would say after 37 weeks, don't do any more pelvic floor training per se. We're trying to get everything to kind of soften then. And it doesn't mean that you can't work out. It just means don't add any extra focus on drawing your pelvic floor up, because we want things to start getting a little soft and relaxing there. So labor prep moves, basically everything is going to kind of be the same. You can focus a little bit more on deep squats and hip openers. So any stretches that actually open up your hips a little bit more are great. Making sure that you've got some breath. So I think yoga blocks are great for this. If you're not comfortable with a deep squat on your own, I'm moving really slow. I messed up my SI joint even postpartum, so bear with me. But you can sit on yoga blocks or sit on something low to the floor that still allows your posture to be tall and sit in this position. So labor prep can be really great way here to just find your breath, to let your pelvic floor be soft. I think sometimes sitting on yoga blocks is actually better than trying to do this without them, unless you're very used to doing a deep squat without yoga blocks. If you're not used to it, your pelvic floor might tense up. And so it kind of contradicts what we're trying to do here. So sitting on something and really just allowing your hips to be soft and finding your breath. Or you could hold onto a bar or hold onto a wall or a countertop and physically use the countertop to get yourself down into a deep squat and sort of use that as your exercise. And then exhale, come back up, inhale, lower back down, and kind of let yourself sit here. Joanne is doing exactly what I was going to say, is if you have a big birth ball, you can bounce. So you can actually sit with your knees nice and wide, finding space in your hips, and you can just take some like little hip circles or hip sways, or let your hips rock and take a nice big circle on a birth ball. So it's not really like a labor prep exercise per se, but it can be really great for dilation eventually, or effacement, and getting some of that pressure as you come down, as you're pushing onto the birth ball. And it allows your pelvic floor to kind of relax down onto the birth ball. So anything that opens up your hips, that kind of softens your inner thighs a little bit. I know we're not always trying to think about inner thighs being soft. We're trying to do the opposite. But right before labor, getting everything a little like juicy and loose and open is really more of the goal. So rather than focusing on all that strength in, why don't we focus on like maybe letting some of the weights come back down and focus on opening up a little bit. What else? What else? I would also say to just kind of before another question, like be mindful of how you're moving in bed. And it's so hard because you're tossing and turning, right? Maybe you're rolling over with a pillow. If you can try to at all wrap your belly before you roll over to the other side, or even roll over with your knees sort of pressed together rather than stretching them apart. It can be really good if you are having any SI joint pain or if you feel any back pain like towards the later parts of your pregnancy. If you can roll over like with a pillow between your knees or without, and you're essentially trying to wrap your belly in, draw it in, squeeze, and roll over to the other side without just like letting everything splay out, which is how we feel, because you're just like, okay. And that's how you feel at 2 in the morning, and you might sometimes be too tired, but it can really help with like back pain, hip pain, SI joint pain, any of those things that can sometimes occur later in pregnancy, and sometimes just like changing how you roll over in bed can be something that can really help sort of mitigate that and cause less pain if it comes up. Sorry, I went over, I always do. Anything else that you can think of? If not, I'll put all my information. Everybody can still reach out. You ladies did a wonderful job. I hope everyone feels great after this.
Yes, thank you.
You're so
Thank you so much.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome.
Amy.
Thank you for coming. And I will put just here, I think everyone saw it, that I'm at Jamie Jones Fit on Instagram. You can always feel free to like contact me with questions if anything comes up. Email is the same. It's jamiejonesfit@gmail.com. So that's all the same there. But if you need more resources, if you need assistance, I know that ULA is wonderful for that there's just such a nice blend of taking care of yourself and all the care that you can get. So please feel free to like use me as a resource as well, and reach out for all of your training needs, doula questions, all the things. And I know we're recording this for anyone who couldn't be here. So if you take this later, nice to see you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Have a great evening.